What's up, whiskey fans, and welcome back to another video. This video will be slightly different. We have recently had Whisky Live 2024 here in South Africa, and we got the opportunity to catch up with McConnell's brand manager, Sarah Kennedy. So pour yourself a dram, sit back, relax, and enjoy the interview. Folks, welcome back to another video. Today we are with Sarah from McConnell's. Welcome to our fabulous country. You are here for the Whisky Live show 2024.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about McConnell's.
Okay, so thanks for having me first. Really enjoying the trip to Johannesburg. So it's my second time in South Africa. I was in Cape Town in May. So I've been with McConnell's brand now for 4.5 years. We are a relatively new Irish whisky brand, but with a massive history. So McConnell's was first established in 1776 in Belfast by the McConnell's family. Very successful family. Started off as a small bottler, bonder, and whisky mercenary. Then grew to being a much bigger distillery back in the 1800s. But unfortunately, like many Irish whisky brands, the McConnell's brand went into hibernation really in 1938. There's three reasons for that really. One of them was prohibition in America. Of course, the Scotch whisky popularity as well, and the invention of the coffee still. And on top of that, there was lots of economic issues, like political issues, and there was wars in and around the Commonwealth as well. So a lot of the Irish whisky brands, they closed their doors. But with McConnell specifically, they suffered quite a large fire.
Let's see there.
Yes, in 1909,
Yes.
They lost one of their bonded warehouses. And you might need to do some conversion for me here. So, but they lost 500,000 gallons of Irish whiskey,
Okay.
which is the equivalent of around 37 million pounds sterling of a loss. Now I don't know what that is in rand, but you can
It's
Google
quite
it.
a lot, actually. Yeah,
So-
it's probably well over 100 million rand. I think close to 200 million rand. Yeah,
Yes,
so it's a
it
lot
was
of-
just a lot. So they had 5 other warehouses, but it did affect business quite heavily. And the McConnell's family decided to close the business in 1938. So the brand lay dormant for around 90 years. And then there's been a massive Irish whisky renaissance. I'm sure a lot of your listeners have been following. And since 2010, we went from 4 distilleries now to 50 distilleries on our island. So you're seeing this real comeback of Irish whisky. And with that, the Belfast Distillery Company, which is the company I work for, we are the steward of the McConnell's whisky brand, and we've brought it back to life again. And with that, we've brought out 2 blended Irish whiskies and some single cask whiskies also. Plus, in April of this year, we opened our own single malt Irish whisky distillery in a really cool location in Belfast. So we opened it in the old Crumlin Road jail.
Yes.
Rich history has the Crumlin Road jail. Housed prisoners from the Irish famine, the suffragettes, and also we housed the political prisoners in the A wing. Belfast has a history of a very rich political history, but now we have a lot of peace in Belfast City, and from the late 90s we now see a lot of peace in our city, and with that we decided to turn the distillery the jail into something a little bit more positive. So we built a single malt Irish whisky distillery.
Okay, no, that's perfect. Now you are the ambassador for McConnell's. How did you get into that, and what is your sort of job description?
Of course, so my job now is actually, it's a brand manager. It doesn't sound
Okay.
as fancy as a brand ambassador anymore. But I started off as a brand ambassador. Really enjoyed my time as a brand ambassador in the city of Belfast. I started during COVID, which was a strange time to start a road for brand advocacy, especially when people weren't getting together. So I built an online platform. I decided to speak to a lot of the local pubs, restaurants, independent liquor stores, and really and talk about the brand while things were a little bit quieter. So my role as a brand ambassador was a little bit different in 2020, and then in 2021 the world opened up again, and so I did a lot more traveling, traveled to the US, traveled to some of our important markets across Europe, eventually got to South Africa, have been to many other countries speaking about the brand. And then in 2022, my role started to evolve. We went from being in just 2 markets to now almost 50 countries around the world. And we're a very small team.
Okay.
So my job is to build market and brand programs for our international markets. So I work quite closely with our CEO, John Kelly, and our commercial manager, Shauna, and we help to build the brands in each individual country. They're all very different. So, yeah.
So today we are drinking the McConnell's Irish 5-year,
yes,
which is absolutely one of my favorites. And then you guys have obviously got the sherry cask as well.
Of course.
The 20-year-old is on its way.
Yes.
Personally, probably is going to be the whiskey of the year for me.
I love that.
I absolutely love it. I've only tasted it twice, but I can't wait to get my hands on the bottle. What else is McConnell's looking at bringing out in the future, or will we see more releases, different releases? What sort of...
Well, we're really just getting started.
Okay.
But our core range will always stay as our McConnell's 5-year series. So we do have a whiskey that's coming out in 2025. It's going to be part of our core range in South Africa. Don't want to give too much away on that one. It will also be a 5-year-old whiskey. We also have some single cask editions that are coming out. We're doing a 20-year-old with the Whisky Brothers. So that's on the water. It'll be here very soon. And I promise you'll get your bottle.
Okay, I will stand
you have me on
in line
record.
for that
So we have other whiskies that are going to come out down the line. We've just built a single malt Irish whiskey distillery, and we're producing 500,000 LPAs a year, litres of pure alcohol. So just for listeners, that's around 4 million bottles of McConnell's Irish whiskey. So lots of single malt to come in the future. And our head distiller, Graham Miller, is an exceptional distiller, but also it's fantastic at cask selection, cask management, warehousing, blending. So we have some interesting whiskies that are going to come out in the future as well.
No, that's like I said, it's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love the brand. I love the history behind the brand. So it's fantastic. So let's just
yes, slancher.
Slancher.
Yes.
Now you said to me earlier, this is the first time you are tasting this at 43%.
Yes. So that's the interesting thing about South Africa. It's like, so a lot of the countries, 750 ml bottle, 42% ABV for our 5-year, 46 for the sherry cask. But the laws here in South Africa are a little bit different. So we have a 750 ml bottle and it's 43% ABV. It's a cool little thing to learn. And also it's quite unique. It means that brands that really care about the market and want to get into the market will adjust to suit the laws of the country. So having a 43% blend, I've never tried it at 43%.
And what do you think of it now?
Well, it is actually a little bit different. You're going to think I'm being silly, but
no, I can imagine.
It definitely is. Like that 1% makes a difference. I don't know whether it's because I haven't had any whiskey today, but there's definitely a little bit more of that like dried banana note, isn't there? Yeah, I'm getting that. There's just sweeter. Yeah, and that creaminess. There's a creamy texture to it as well.
I think that's what I love most about McConnell's is that creaminess, but also it's got a bold taste behind it. So it's soft on the palate, it's creamy on the palate, but it does have that like bold flavour to it, which is really, really nice.
Yes, well that's what we wanted to do. We started off with the McConnell's 5-year. It's a green label. It replicates the old McConnell's bottle. It's our heart and soul. I spent a lot of time with this whiskey. Then we brought the sherry cask out as a bit of an experiment. It was more small batch. People just loved it, so then we turned it into a core product. And a lot of the time, blended whiskies tend to get, it's blended, it's not single malt, it's not single grain, it's not single pot still. But for the Irish category, we're quite a young, up and coming category, and we take our blending very seriously. It's an art form.
Okay, yes, yeah.
And I do think for our heart and soul, our core product, to be a 5-year-old blend as well. We put the age statement on the bottle. We use first fill bourbon casks in our maturation. The quality of the liquid, it's really high malt content in our blend as well. It's just the unique selling points for McConnell's are pretty high.
Okay.
We're really passionate about what we do.
It is, like I said, it's fantastic. So now to address, every time we attend a whiskey show, McConnell's is there. There's always that one question that pops up, and maybe today you can help all the viewers answer that question.
Yes.
Why is there no E at the end of the whiskey?
That's my number one question. I do things on social media, and I have a handle. It's like, it's not a plug by the way, but it's McConnell's Whiskey Sarah, and they tell me every time, but Sarah, you spelled whiskey wrong. A lot of people drop into my direct messages to say that. And really, the term whiskey comes from an Irish term called Ishkabaha,
Yes.
which is the water of life. And over time, that term Ishka turned into a whiskey. So whiskey actually comes from that term. It's a Celtic Irish term, and that translation was always without the E. It wasn't until the 1800s where the E was introduced. Now, there's many different stories about who did it, why it was done. A lot of people say that it was to differentiate Scotch and Irish. A lot of people say that it started in Dublin and didn't make its way up north, but we don't really know the exact reason. We just know that McConnell's never actually took on that E, and right up until 1938 they still spelt whiskey without the E. So we wanted to honour that tradition. We wanted to stay like the original McConnell's. All of our memorabilia, all of our history, everything is whiskey without the E. So we're one of only 2 brands that spell it that way on the island of Ireland, and we're really proud of that as well.
No, but that's fantastic. Like I said, it's an absolute cracker of a dram. It's probably one of my all-time favorites.
Thank you so much.
And I absolutely love it. Last question is, explain the Harp of Erin.
Okay. This is like one I get asked a lot too.
Because it is front and center of the bottle. There's
Yes.
a little explanation here that says the Harp of Erin. So just run it down for us.
I'm just going to run it down from my perspective,
Okay, perfect.
because there might be some Irish historians around here that might set the record straight. So the Harp of Erin was used in the branding of McConnell's back in the 1700s, right through. It's a really harmonious symbol that we use. We're really proud to use it. It's on many different things throughout Irish history. You have to Google it to find those things out. I'll not say them here. Throughout history for many different reasons. It's also on the front of the Irish passports.
Okay.
Ryanair, there are other airlines, but Ryanair has the Harp of Erin. And obviously we have Guinness too, which has the Harp of Erin reversed. But this is a very unique symbol that we're very proud to use. And we see it as a harmonious symbol. Ireland has seen many different conflicts throughout history, especially between North and South. And Belfast being based in the north, having the Harp of Erin on the front of our bottle, we're very proud of. So
that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time and your information. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see what else what the distillery is going to keep coming, and hopefully I'll be able to visit the distillery next year, and I'll come through to the visitor centre. So if you guys do want to go through to the visitor centre, go through. You won't regret the experience. I hear it's amazing. So thank you very much again. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.